Good Saturday evening, everybody. Welcome in. Severe weather coverage tonight, on top of snow coverage, on top of flooding coverage, and if we hit some goals, potentially discussing some big snow potential next week. So we've got it all out there. Welcome into the stream, everyone. Great to see you. We'll go ahead and ask right here at the beginning. If you haven't already, go ahead, like the stream, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell for the latest notifications. Also, want to go ahead and say thank you to our supporters. We've got some new supporters on the list this afternoon. Just started up channel memberships yesterday, so this list will probably grow a little bit, but definitely consider joining. You can hit that massive join button right next to the subscribe button and have your name featured here if you're tier 2 or 3 or the upper level club or the GM Fanatic Club is what I named them. Upper level club, by the way, it kind of works in two ways. I thought upper level as in, like, it's higher end, and then also upper level because I love breaking down upper level maps. And I thought that'd be a fun little name. So definitely great to see everyone. Let me know where you're watching from. Let me know if you can hear me loud and clear. And here in a moment, we're going to get to breaking down that severe weather threat. Currently, I'll zoom out. No tornado warnings active. I think that's going to change here kind of soon. Things are starting to wrap up and look kind of squirrely out here towards the Memphis area and even back down into Louisiana. And going to be a pretty long stream tonight, I think, as we discuss all of this. Definitely going to be a fun one. All right, looks like some folks can hear me loud and clear. Love to hear it. And again, welcome in, everyone. Great to see you. Go ahead and share the stream as well. If you've got family out here, if you've got family anywhere, definitely consider going ahead and sharing it with them. We've got that active weather bringing active conditions for many of us. Also, a guest speaker with us tonight, the one and only BGWX. Brady, welcome back. Great to see you, and happy to have you with me tonight. Would you like to go ahead and do your little intro spiel?
Yes, it's awesome to be back here again, Gerald. Appreciate again, shout out all the new subscribers that have came over from Gerald that have come here on stream recently with me. It's been a blast here. Again, for those that just don't know, I live stream a lot. We do a lot of video breakdowns at times as well. Big Mid-Atlantic, Northeastern, even sometimes in the South during the winter time. So really just enjoy, if you enjoy that in-depth analysis, I will put the link to my channel for those that want to consider subscribing and come on in. We'll be going live tonight, tomorrow. We got active times coming up here with the storm, obviously ongoing, and maybe blizzard potential next week. So I appreciate you having me on again, Gerald.
Yeah, and thanks for joining. Also, or always makes my life easier to have you on here. You're pretty good at kind of filling in at the times that maybe I'm a little tired. So
Yeah,
definitely
yeah,
appreciative to
I'm all
have you
right.
in.
I'm all right, Gerald.
Don't sell yourself short. Don't sell yourself short. So definitely go subscribe to Brady's channel. He should be putting
Oh,
the link for that. Also,
yeah,
I
I'm
think the
putting the
link for
link
it's in
in
the
right now.
description of this. Awesome. Yeah. So I will pin that. But the big theme right now is severe weather. We've got an enhanced risk up from Memphis back down to Tupelo into Jackson, Meridian, Monroe. And this, unfortunately, this evening is including the threat for a pretty high end tornado potential. And that will definitely be something that we need to monitor during the overnight. Now, I will go ahead and mention here. Actually, let me set it up first, and then we'll do it. So, gonna set a bit of a lofty goal tonight, but I think just considering how active things are, it's a goal that should be okay to put up here. So, obviously tonight the big concern is going to be severe weather. If we can hit the goal I'm about to post, then I will break down next week's potential, which obviously is a big one for that potential snowstorm. So, Brady, just to give the folks a little tease, you want to talk a little bit about just what next week could look like while I type something up here?
Yeah, so we have active times obviously coming up, and we have this snowstorm still to clear out today for a lot of people, major totals possible, but we are going to be looking very closely at the certainly even you throw that B word out there, the blizzard word, Gerald. I know we get a lot of questions. That's certainly a possibility next week. It's still too early to really nail down any specific totals for anywhere yet, not even close to, and we are not even guaranteed a storm, but certainly we're talking about really across the southern plains, the Midwest, Ohio Valley, into even possibly Western Carolinas, and then up into the Mid-Atlantic, New York City, Northeast, into New England as well. So all on tap. Yes, the B word, especially for the East Coast, the blizzard potential is at play. But again, we'll say no guarantees quite yet for how that might play out. But certainly a major snowstorm is a possibility for the East Coast and across the southern plains and across much of the central part of the country as well.
Yeah, and I think again the B word always the scarier one that people hear, or maybe not scary, but the one people get a little more excited about. And I really do think we have the potential for it come next week. All right, so let's kind of take a look at current radar. If I can get current radar to work, might just need to refresh the page here. Let's see if that'll fix it. Alrighty, there we go. We're back. So, kind of watching a couple areas, just this big line of storms, specifically outside of Memphis right now, folks. Kind of see the shape of these. These cells right now kind of have that classic little S shape to them, kind of a bunch of embedded little supercells down here, all of which trying to spin specifically this one that's moving right towards Memphis. It's kind of getting that look to it that you don't like to see. This is right along I-40 right now, moving towards Jennett into West Memphis, and then eventually into Memphis itself. If we take a look at velocity on this guy, not anything extremely scary right now jumping out to me, but definitely starting to get kind of the thought process here of maybe spinning right along I-40. Again, that would work towards Memphis and eventually towards kind of the Bartlett area, Millings, or Millington, it looks like Tennessee. So definitely watching that. Other areas of this line also beginning to spin a little bit. Back down towards Louisiana, we've got ample shear and a severe thunderstorm warning not far from Shreveport. But watching these kind of cells out in front of the line, back down towards Alexandria. Gonna kind of see some of these curly S shapes again down this way, but we're in a little bit of a lull right now, and I say a lull just meaning we don't have any active tornado warnings. We've also got a lot of snow going on out there. This is Brady's specialty, and let's take a look at the Northeast. Heavy snow coming down right now in Binghamton, up towards Scranton, moving into Massachusetts, Connecticut, Rhode Island, New Hampshire, Vermont, and into upstate New York. Brady, what are you seeing out there right now? You're kind of watching from that general area.
Yeah, I'm actually getting snow right now. Just telling Gerald before, we're gonna get about a half inch. A lot of we saw western Philly burbs. West there we saw about 1 to 3 inches of snow out there. We saw about a half inch to 2 inches of snow across New York City so far. They have switched over to a sleet, and they'll switch to rain as well. And then again, mostly half inch to an inch totals up here, but that's going to change quickly here. We'll continue to see moderate snow persist over the time being here into the evening. And then once we get overnight, that's when things really start to ramp up here. We're going to be looking at places, across Hartford will have an opportunity here. Worcester, Pittsfield, Boston will all have in southeastern Massachusetts, and into the Capital District in New York, Albany, Hudson Valley, Northeast PA, all have an opportunity here to accumulate possibly heavy snow before switching over to possibly ice. And that is certainly a big concern. And then further to the north, we'll say that up there in northern New England and into upstate New York, that's where the heaviest totals are going to be potentially. I mean, you couldn't be able to rule out, as much as 10 to even maybe as much as 20 inches of snow, certainly possible for the most furthest northern parts of the Northeast. So a major winter storm at tap here. But Gerald, I don't know how much you've seen here, but the freezing rain potential is definitely starting to raise some concerns now. Latest winter storm warning here in Massachusetts, 0.15 to 0.35 inches of ice accretion possible. So certainly that's just as concerning as the snow potential here.
Yeah, and here's the warning map. By the way, this is WeatherWise. They have their own app. I absolutely recommend checking them out. I'm not sponsored by them or anything, but they have a great product. So check out WeatherWise, and that's what we're going to use tonight for the live stream. But yeah, I mentioned that in my videos. Also concerned about power outages up here. We're going to have very gusty winds on top of the ice. I think that's something that's really maybe not being downplayed, but just not being talked enough about. Obviously, we've got tons of flooding and severe weather, but the power outage threat up there, Brady, I think it'd be pretty serious out of this one.
Yeah, well, that's where the concern comes in is now if you're accumulating, ice on top of, trees, power lines, and then we start talking 40, 50, 60 even mile per hour wind gusts. We did see high wind watches and even possibly some high wind warnings issued. I'm not sure if you can confirm that or not, but definitely high wind watches in place across a lot of the area. And that makes it more susceptible with the ice on accumulated on possibly trees and branches. That makes it more susceptible for power outages and down limbs to occur. So definitely a concern across a lot of the Northeast.
Yeah, definitely. I think going to be a big topic. Newly issued severe thunderstorm warning out here just north of Memphis. This is that cell I'm watching. Not really the exact cell, but it's kind of in this cluster of cells. You can see this guy right here crossing the Mississippi in a moment into the state of Tennessee, just north of Memphis. Seeing some gusty winds with that one right now. Low end tornado potential. If we take a look here at our velocity signature, starting to see some more interesting features. So the good news, luckily for me right now, I'm actually in a class called Mesoscale Meteorology. If you don't know what that is, basically it's a class on severe weather. So this is kind of the perfect spring for me to start getting into these sorts of live streams. And this is definitely a very volatile atmosphere out there. A lot of wind shear. Now, this is one of those unidirectional wind shear kind of days. So I'm not expecting these beautiful supercells with these massive wedges with a dry slot and where you can see everything. It's going to kind of be a messy QLCS type day, but that doesn't mean that these tornadoes will be weak. I would not be surprised to see high-end QLCS tornadoes out of this through the state of Tennessee, Mississippi, even down into Louisiana during the next couple of hours, and we'll be here to track it for you. Everyone just joining us, again, welcome in. If you haven't already, go ahead, like the stream, subscribe to my channel, and subscribe to Brady's channel. Again, he's our guest tonight, so let's show him some love. And his link for his channel is in the... sorry, I was reading something. The link for his channel is in the description and in the chat. So good stuff. All right, let's see here. So back to radar, continuing to watch things, continuing to pick up, and also some news, severe thunderstorm warnings back down into Louisiana. You can see some of these cells firing up here, some even a little more discrete in nature here, kind of south of El Dorado. Seeing some of these cells, we'll see if we've got any rotation in these guys, and we'll continue again to be the big trend. This one, a little bit of rotation, kind of spot that. Let's go back to reflectivity. Yeah, so this cell into northern Louisiana is starting to look a little suspicious. Brady, I'm sure you can spot that too. If we go to velocity, seeing a little bit of spin out here with this guy. Not super strong, but something to watch. And that is definitely something that we'll need to keep an eye on.
Yeah, it looks a little for the moment, it looks more like straight line wind, but certainly with this setup, there could be at any moment we could see the potential for a spin up. And like you're talking about, even along that line, even south of the severe warnings, you can see just multiple areas of rotation, even south of those warnings, if you can spot those cells as well, Gerald. Really, at any moment, we could see some severe warnings pop up, and definitely at least some tornado potential is obviously present with those.
Yeah, definitely. By the way, if y'all have any questions in the chat, send them our way. We'll try our best to answer them here during the video. And welcome in Mary Kid, watching from Maryland. Great to see you in here. And a couple other folks as well kind of watching. So, Brady, do we have mainly snow people watching or severe weather people watching? What's kind of the mix here in the chat?
We
Looks like a
have
little bit of
a
both.
we have a complete mix, I would say. We have a lot of, certainly some people already asking about next week, obviously, and we also have, some people asking about the severe weather as well. So we have a significant mix from all over the South, Midwest, Mid-Atlantic, and Northeast right now.
Awesome. Good to hear it. Renee asking about snow accumulation on Wednesday to Thursday, snowstorm in Frederick, Maryland. Yeah, Renee, I think Maryland's in a good spot. And if we've got time tonight and things are calm, which we'll see if they are, we'll discuss that. By the way, I want to clear something up and clarify something. I had a comment down here. Somebody mentioned that you have to pay for a chat. That is not the case, folks. So the way the memberships work, I'll go ahead and explain it now. There's 3 tiers. The first tier, you can get emojis. Actually, let me back up. First of all, I'm not taking anything from anybody. The memberships are just kind of extra fun stuff. If you want to support me, still going to run the channel the exact same way I have. You just have, the benefit. If you want to support me a little bit more, you can get the number or like the lower tier subscription. That's to put emojis in the chat. By the way, if any of you have that, go ahead and put some in there. I want to see what it looks like. Then the second tier is for the shout outs, which I can show you here as well. Again, just not taking anything from anyone, just kind of showing some extra love to those people who have been here for a while and want to support a little bit more. And then the third level is kind of a bonus of something I was never even doing in the first place. If you have the third level, I will answer any in-depth question about your specific forecast location. That could be snow totals, high temperatures, anything you want. So again, still here to answer questions. And again, we had one from Renee just answered, and we'll continue to do that through the night. I just kind of want to clarify that. So now that we're done with all the sappy stuff. All right, White Price with a super chat says, if we hit the goal, talk about snow totals next week for Blacksburg. Absolutely, Wyatt. If we hit the goal, we will talk about potential snow. And again, I've set the goal for a pretty long period of time. So, we've got a good shot of getting there, I think, throughout the night. All right, how does London, Ontario look as far as snow? Well, that's another thing, Brady. I've got some viewers from Canada. Canada is going to get absolutely walloped there in the St. Lawrence River Valley out of this one. I mean, I think we're going to get some very impressive totals and full blown blizzard conditions. And so we can pull up the map here and take a look at it. So let's see, what was the question from again? London, Ontario. Actually, I know exactly where that is because I've kind of had some questions from there before. So London, Ontario, for anyone who doesn't know, is right here on the map, kind of between Detroit and Buffalo, an area that's gotten some good snow. And I think overnight tonight, Brady, all this precip back down south is going to begin to move up that way, and a bit of a deformation band going to set up. And I'm watching Detroit, London, Ontario included, and areas back down south for some enhanced snowfall out of that in the overnight. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, so we're gonna see seven
Actually,
seven.
Brady, I'm sorry. I'm going to stop you immediately because we now have our first tornado warning issued of the night. So sorry to cut you off, but kind of the
That's perfectly
important thing.
fine.
This is the exact cell I was telling y'all about. This is north of Memphis. I told you this area of the line is starting to look a little squirrely. Here we go. North of Ripley, newly issued tornado warning. Let's go ahead and get the bulletin on this one. So I'll go ahead and read it out loud for you. This is again issued by the National Weather Service. Tornado warning for northwestern Crockett County in West Tennessee, eastern Dyer County in West Tennessee, northwestern Gibson County in West Tennessee, northeastern Lauderdale County in western Tennessee. So this is radar indicated rotation. The storm was located near Ripley, moving northeast at 45. So not completely booking it. Storms move a little bit quicker than that. Let's take a look at it on radar. You can see that hook echo pretty evident here on reflectivity. We'll zoom in. This just north of central Tennessee, really right over the city, actually, north of Ripley, north of the Memphis area. You can see that outflow on the backside of the storm, and then that inflow cranking up here. And starting to see this one begin to spin on velocity as well. We'll show it to you. Yeah, pretty tight rotation there. In fact, kind of two areas of rotation. One of those might be a little bit of containment. Let's see, back on reflectivity. Yeah, so yeah, it's going to be this southern area right here. Here's the outflow, and then a little bit of inflow on the storm trying to creep in here as well. So starting to see that. Luckily, does not appear to be on the ground at this moment. We'll take another look at correlation coefficient. Yeah, not getting any massive debris signatures right now, but definitely a storm that's starting to rotate, and a new tornado warning now including just north of Memphis. So if y'all were here at the beginning, you heard me say it. I said this part of the line was starting to look sketchy. Here we go, already rocking and rolling. This one moving towards Marion, moving towards Millington. Again, right at the beginning of the stream, I told you about this one, Crawfordsville. This one also probably radar indicated. Let's see here. Radar indicated rotation. A severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located near Crawfordsville or near Earl. And here we go. A third tornado warning now issued south of there. Mariana, Hughes. Folks, things are getting active quick down here. Let's take a look at velocity and time it out for you. Multiple areas of rotation beginning to fire up right where we said it was going to happen. I'll zoom out a little bit so we can kind of get all warnings in the box here. Here we go. 1 warning, 2 warning, 3 warnings. All of them tornado warnings. Now for this QLCS beginning to spin, moving through the Memphis area here in the near term. Go ahead, play it safe. Get to a safe place if you can. Interior room, basement if you have it. No windows. You don't want any of that nonsense whenever these storms are rolling on through. And you can see it very clearly on reflectivity. We've got all sorts of little notches down here. Here's one up near Ripley. Here's one moving towards Marion, and then one down towards Mariana. Kind of an interesting, similar name on them, but definitely beginning to spin. So things got crazy pretty quick there, Brady. Huh? I cut you off. Next thing you know, we went from 0 to 3 tornado warnings in the span of about 2 minutes. NWS Memphis definitely starting to hit the hammer on these.
Yeah, the low-level jet right now, it's starting to enter a really favorable area. And if you look on the SPC meso analysis, you don't have to pull up, but it's very visibly showing
You mean
50,
this SPC mesoanalysis?
50 to 60 knots yes, that SPC analysis. 50 to 60 knot low-level jet right now at 850 version 2 on the upper air map. If you take a look here, and it's
Gotcha.
very favorable low level jet. So strong low level jet supporting the ability, to really allow strong straight line winds, but also the ability to help support also some of these spin up tornadoes here as well.
Yeah, definitely this line now moving into the favorable environment. That was kind of the thought all day, and definitely beginning to start spinning up here. So These are getting kind of serious here. Luckily, none of them jumping out immediately as anything um, off the charts right now. I'd say this most concerning one, unfortunately, is probably this storm, kind of either up towards Dyersburg or back down towards Marion. Now, the Marion storm looks a little bit better on reflectivity. You've got a little bit more of a defined hook echo on it. You go further north, a little less defined up towards Ripley. But kind of more of an embedded or more of a kind of out on its own supercell. So this one up near Ripley definitely working into a favorable environment. I'm not sure if we have any sky cams out here. Let's see if we do in the Memphis area. It doesn't look like it, so not going to be able to get a kind of a defined view on this one, but definitely becoming a concern. Also in Kentucky, back up towards Virginia, West Virginia, pretty insane flooding ongoing, and that'll be another kind of threat to watch here during the coming hours. All right, do we have any questions? Let's see. Go back up. Super chat from Phil P. Also a member, so thank you, Phil, for becoming a member. I'm working the overnight shift next week in Middlesex County, New Jersey. Work in Edison. Gerald, can you write me a note to stay home? Well, I might not have to. The National Weather Service might do it by the time we get there. So definitely looking interesting that way. So thank you, Phil, for one, becoming a member, and two, for the super chat. What radar are we using? This is WeatherWise. They have their own app. You can look them up. They're a great resource. It's free, by the way, WeatherWise, so a great way to stay up to date during these severe weather events. And again, now rocking and rolling with these newly issued tornado warnings. Gotcha says, I'm in Walker. It looks like sunny. Not sure Walker of what state, but maybe we can look into that if you want to let us know.
We do have
All right,
storm
so
chasers on the Crawfordville storm, Gerald. So
okay.
if there is a tornado on the ground there upcoming potentially, we'll
Mm-hmm.
probably be able to get some confirmation there. But so far, no confirmation on a tornado on the ground on any of those tornado warnings as of now.
Awesome. All right, in Crawfordville, is that the middle cell here or the northern cell? Probably should. No, I just had it pulled up.
I believe that is the middle cell just northwest of Memphis.
Gotcha. All right, so Brady doing some behind the scenes work for me. Brady, we're basically like Ryan Hall at this point. We've got me and you just kind of rocking and rolling here. So watch out, Ryan. We're coming for you.
No,
But
no AI bump though. Real human here.
we do not have an AI bot. We are real humans, unfortunately. No shade to Ryan. It's actually really cool. He has an AI robot that's like always doing the weather. Not jealous per se, but maybe a little jealous. This storm, though, again, north of Marion, folks, this is the one that's looking a little concerning. Velocity, still nothing jumping out saying this is like majorly spinning. Northern cell, same thing. In fact, kind of a little bit of a radar gap here, unfortunately. And then down south, the other cell, kind of the same thing. So nothing jumping out, but I think kind of what NWS Memphis is doing here is one, they're looking at reflectivity. They're seeing the storm is trying to spin. And you can see that kind of, again, that back end hook echo. That's the outflow from the storm pushing around it. And then you kind of get some inflow on this side. So the storm already looks like it's rotating, and it definitely is, at least in the mid levels. In fact, I'm willing to bet if we move our radar beam up a little bit, let's move it to like 1.8 and go to velocity. I have to go a little bit higher than that, actually, to try to see some of the spin in these. Yeah, so you can kind of see the spin a little bit easier here. It's still kind of messy, but definitely the storm's rotating. It's just not getting down to the lowest levels of the atmosphere right now, and that's why this is yet to be radar confirmed. It's just still radar indicated rotation. But also, like Brady mentioned, brought up a good point. These storms are working into a much more conducive environment for tornado genesis, and that will be the concern here as we continue moving into the evening. So let's read some chats here. Got a couple people saying a couple things here. We've got Sherry saying, "Hey Gerald and Brady, I live in the western southern tier of NYS. What kind of nasty weather is in store for us tomorrow? I'm really winter wary." So Sherry, definitely. Actually, Brady, you want to take over that one because you're gonna kind of be my snow expert for the night.
Yes, yes, up there, Western New York State. Sherry was saying, correct, Gerald?
Yeah, yeah.
Yes. They're honestly going to be a pretty close call on some of that mixed line up there across the Canadian border up there by upstate New York, Western New York especially. but you should be expecting the potential for at least several inches at least of accumulating snow across the whole area, and some there can't rule out even the potential for double digits in terms of snow potential. And then yes, ice and I would say sleet and freezing rain are definitely both a concern, and accumulating sleet and freezing rain are also a concern. It really just depends on how far that warm nose makes it. If it's able to hold off, if we see an earlier transfer of our low pressure system, just all that means is you're going to be able to stay snow for longer. So it's really a low floor, high ceiling event. You could really boom or bust out there in Western New York.
Yeah, so appreciate that, Brady. Also, if Brady answers your question, just go ahead and be a saint and subscribe to his channel. That means he's looking out for you. And again, we're trying to get him some subs here. I have been blessed enough to have some shout outs from people before that have really helped my channel. So we're gonna try to do the same thing for Brady, as my channel is kind of actually getting to a pretty not a still small fish in a big pond, but definitely seeing pretty incredible um, growth. Jill Thompson asking about the Charlotte area. Tomorrow morning, Charlotte's going to get this mess in their neck of the woods. The squall line is going to push eastbound towards really everyone in the southeast by overnight tonight. And Charlotte, especially tomorrow morning, watching for heavy rains, strong winds, and even an isolated tornado threat. And then all eyes turn to winter weather potential by next week. Seth D says, hey, Gerald, how about Clemens and Hickory, North Carolina? Looking into next week, still too early. Still too early for anything definitive, Seth, but I think Hickory's in a great place to see a winter storm. Now, that could be ice, snow, that could be really anything frozen, but definitely looks pretty wintry by next Wednesday in that area. Michael saying, hey, I live in Amaw, I believe is how you say that. Amaw, Pennsylvania, maybe, excuse me. Any big storms in my area next week? I drive school bus. Thanks. That's from Mike Bowers. Well, where in Pennsylvania is that? Do you happen off the top of your head, Brady? No, I'll look it up.
Say it again. Where exactly? So I'm looking at tornado
Uh,
stuff.
no, you're good. Armagh, Pennsylvania, Armagh, I believe. My
I do
eyesight doesn't
not,
film.
but I can quickly tell you where. Okay.
It looks like back out near Pittsburgh, kind of.
Yes. Oh,
So Michael, you might be a little too far west for next week's snow event. Um, we'll see. Maybe some snow, but I think the worst of it probably more of a coastal northeast type event. Thanks for joining in, Rich White. He's got 2 inches here in Eastern Connecticut, in East Hartford, Connecticut. He says, awesome. All right, so folks, still looking at these tornado warnings. Nothing new from the NWS here. Saying radar confirmed or chaser confirmed. Brady, you're kind of on social media duty. You've got anything on these right now from storm chasers on the ground?
nothing confirmed quite yet. We do have, people saying that there are tornado sirens going off, which a lot of mixed reviews on the pot whether or not that's positive or not. But we do have people reporting their tornado sirens going off, and they're continuing the warnings at this point. So, but there is no current confirmation of whether or not tornadoes are on the ground at this moment.
Awesome. A little sneak peek for the winter weather next week, folks. Latest 18Z Euro just dropped a bomb over portions of Virginia and the Carolinas. So just getting kind of a little foreshadowing there, as we say. Getting a lot of questions about snow. So again, folks, we're going to be able to tackle the snow. We're going to have to also tackle these tornado warnings right now. I think we're still all good down in Louisiana, at least tornado warning wise. Again, it's too soon for totals on anybody or for anybody. It looks wintry for a lot of folks, Arkansas included. We have a question about Arkansas here. I think Oklahoma, Arkansas, Missouri, Kansas, going to see some good snow. I think the Carolinas, at least portions of the Carolinas, Virginia, probably going to see some good snow. And then that potential B word, blizzard, by the time we get to maybe the northern mid-Atlantic and northeast by next week. Heck, maybe even further south than that. Maybe Virginia even in play for blizzard conditions, not out of the question. And if we've got some time later and the tornado threat calms down, we'll kind of dive into it. But for now, we're not going to show any maps on that. We'll kind of just verbalize it a little bit. All right, looks like I got another update on this tornado warning just north of Memphis. Still saying radar indicated rotation as of right now. Now, this is kind of moving pretty quick. This one's moving at 60 miles an hour. Radar indicated, like I said, locations impacted include Marion, Millington, Meeman, Shelby Forest State Park, Memphis, Arlington, Munford, Sunset, Gilmore, Dixonville, Tipton, Terrell, Gilt Edge, Clarkendale, Barrettville, Booker, Griffin Corner, Manisha, and Gammon. Again, if I butcher your town name, I apologize. Feel free to correct me in the comments. But still seeing these tornado warnings out here. Let's again get another check on velocity, see if we've got anything a little bit more impressive looking. Still kind of looking the same on velocity. Nothing jumping out to me that we have a confirmed tornado on the ground, which is good. Hope to keep it that way, but obviously cannot completely confirm that it will stay that way. Let me also, folks, again, if you have footage or videos or anything, go ahead, tag me or Brady on Twitter or X, whatever you'd like to call it, at GMingle, and at, I think, just BGWX Brady. Is that what you are?
Yep, Brady
Or Brady
BGWX,
BG,
and
yeah, Brady BGWX.
it's the username BGWX. You'll find me.
So definitely tag us. We'll share your footage live on the stream here for however many people watching to see. Also, if you are just now joining the stream, go ahead and like it. That'll help more people find it. Consider sharing it with somebody you know back out here where we have multiple tornado warnings. And subscribe to both of our channels. If you haven't, hit the bell for the latest notifications. Also, just want to say thank you for the incredible growth on the channel. The past couple videos have done pretty amazing. We've shot up in subscribers once again. It really has been that way for like a month or so now. So definitely appreciative for all of you.
And Gerald, we have I'm watching other streams as well as Storm Chasers. We have some people on this northern cell by Gates and Halls and Friendship. In their live stream, it shows there's no tornado on the ground, but can very visibly see rotating wall cloud present there on that northern tornado warning up there by Dyersburg.
Yeah, folks, so that's this storm right here. Again, we've got chasers on the ground. Remember, when I say we, I don't mean me and Brady are, employing anyone to chase this. But we've got chasers nonetheless out there, and they are not seeing anything on the ground. Are seeing a wall cloud. Basically, that's just a lowering of rotation that could potentially lead to some trouble. Let's kind of look back down here a couple areas, see if we've got anything else. Let's see how Louisiana is looking. In fact, let's take a moment here to look at some footage. Wow, check that out. Look at that sunset. You can see the sun setting near the storms. This is down near Louisiana. This is its own severe storm moving near the Natchitoches area of Louisiana. Maybe I said that right. If not, again, feel free to correct me and let me know. But these definitely leading to some stormy and pretty sunset views out there tonight. By the way, just to kind of dissect this storm with you as someone who I consider myself to be a storm chaser myself when I can. Basically, you see the upward tilt here in the storm. I don't know why that was the biggest error of all time, but the upward tilt here into the base, that tells me that these storms are kind of beginning to strengthen. And generally speaking, when you see this in the winter time when we have these big severe weather potential days, that tells me there's a lot of wind shear. This is a very common look I've seen in the Carolinas on these kind of QLCS tornado days, is this tilted shape to the cloud base. And then back down during or near the lower side is where you would potentially see a tornado. But you can also just see how quickly these clouds are booking it over this region. Again, indicative of that very strong wind shear. And again, that's down near Louisiana. So, in fact, I think we've got a sky cam in one of the storms. Let's see what that one looks like. It's near mini Louisiana. Yeah, so you can see the rain coming down for sure. And the waves on the water kind of kicking up as well, causing some rough conditions out there on whatever lake this is. It looks like Toledo Bend Reservoir. All right, so back to these tornado warnings. Again, still watching them. Nothing confirmed to be on the ground. We've got 3 warnings. 2 of them in in Tennessee rather, and 1 of them in Arkansas. The Arkansas one near Mariana right now, moving up towards the Hughes area, likely to cross the Mississippi River here before we know it. Taking a look at velocity on these storms, still nothing jumping out to me saying that we've got we've got major trouble. And Brady, I assume we still don't have any confirmed tornado on the ground with that northern cell where we have the chasers. Just
We
looking
have
at radar, at
no
least.
confirmation. We did see though recently a new SPC mesoscale discussion about 10 minutes ago, Gerald, and it's
Okay.
highlighting northeastern Louisiana into southwestern Mississippi and southeastern Arkansas, and definitely mentioning definitely possibility for tornadoes, strong winds, and hail greater than an inch and a quarter. So certainly. Uh, SBC continues to be pretty strong and bullish on the idea that these cells developing are certainly have not just tornado but strong tornado potential as well.
I appreciate that update. Watching this kind of shower out here near Ripley, Mississippi. Now, this is something we need to watch, folks. Not, I mean, this one too, but any kind of prefrontal convection. I showed you that low-level jet earlier, Brady. This kind of shower, storm, whatever you want to call it. I guess it's still a shower right now into northern Mississippi. It's in a very favorable environment. So if anything gets going out here ahead of the line, it's got big, high-end tornado potential. And that'll be something we definitely need to watch, even down here with some of these prefrontal cells towards Louisiana. Kind of seeing the same thing. But if we go back to mesoanalysis, the forecaster in me really is, if I can get things to stop showing up on the screen, there we go. Kind of concerned about anything that could get going up here into northern Mississippi. It's been untapped, so plenty of thunderstorm fuel and high-end wind shear in that region. And I think we've got a camera for that one as well. So let's see if we can get a look at this this little cell here, kind of trying to get going, kind of north of Tupelo. We'll see if this Tupelo camera is picking up on it. We're looking in that direction. Starting to see the sun go down, so kind of lose some of it here, but also just kind of see these little areas. This is that rising motion. This is a classic little spiraling cumulus cloud up, getting tapped into that wind shear, and showing that rotation potential. So that'll be the big theme. Luckily, though, again, nothing confirmed on the ground right now. No major damage photos coming out. Now, different story back out here where we have the flooding. Let's take a look at that really quickly. Heavy rain has been very consistent. And because of that, unfortunately, we have flash flood emergencies. In fact, let me switch to a different map. I'll do this one so we can zoom in a little bit more. Out here near Beckley, Roanoke, kind of areas of the Virginias, what a week it has been. You had crazy ice early this week. You now are running into crazy flooding. I mean, you cannot catch a break out here. And if I go back, you see these kind of boxes that are glowing with the ring around them. Those are flash flood emergencies. So those only get issued for the kind of worst of the worst events. And that's unfortunately what's unfolding in the mountains of Southwest Virginia and southern West Virginia. Yeah, this storm north of Memphis, it's definitely got the hook shape. I think it's just kind of struggling to bring the rotation down to the surface. Getting kind of flopping back and forth here. If there were rotation, it would probably be somewhere in here. And if we go back to reflectivity, I mean, you see it on reflectivity. If we go to velocity, just not a whole lot showing up. Debris signature, not much of anything. That's probably really just noise down there, if anything. Kind of loop it. See if anything kind of pops up and jumps out. Yeah, nothing really. So definitely good news there for now. But this is moving in a highly populated area. This is just north of Memphis. So obviously plenty of people live down here. And another problem is the sun is going down. So starting to transition to more of a nocturnal threat throughout the remainder of the evening. Obviously the sun's not going to come back out again tonight. So, all right, let's see if we have any chats I missed.
Gerald, we did have a question. Somebody asking about Johnson City, Tennessee, asking about
Tennessee.
severe weather and tornado potential. Maybe if you want to
Yeah,
answer
so
their question.
Yeah, of course. So we'll go back down to the threat levels. Let's just go categorical. Johnson City up here into northern Tennessee. Today, nothing besides flooding is a concern. Tomorrow, also not much of anything. I think the severe threat stays to your south. Now, a bigger threat in Johnson City is the, if I can find it, the excessive rainfall potential. So today, obviously, we've had some heavy rain that could have led to flash flooding. Most of it to your north now, but still some of those creeks and streams to your north up into the Virginia is eventually going to roll down. And then tomorrow, a slight risk for flash flooding as well, or I guess a marginal risk is technically what they call it, but a lower end threat for that tomorrow. So that's kind of the forecast there for Johnson City. New tornado warning up into Kentucky, it looks like. Let's see if we can get back to radar imagery here. This one brand new. This one south of Madisonville. Oh yeah, look at that, right over Nortonville. We've got a storm trying to rotate here. If we take a look at velocity, make sure we're on the right tilt here, kind of at the lower levels. That actually pulled up a little bit too, just out of curiosity. So yeah, right here we've this is a tight little couplet. Right here, we're about to move into Nortonville, Kentucky, crossing really right over US 69 from Nortonville towards White Plains. This one looks to be a tight little circulation. Not so much on the debris field. Not seeing anything right now. But what we've got is we've got wind kind of pushing out from the storm here, and then a little bit trying to wrap around, trying to lead to some rotation. So this one brand new. I imagine I'll check. Probably NWS calling this one radar indicated. But this is pretty far. I mean, Brady, this is all the way up into Kentucky. We go back to our threat from today and we look at the categorical threat. This area is in it, but this is only in the marginal risk. So it goes to show you don't need to be in that highest threat level to potentially get impactful weather.
Indeed, also embedded within all of those flash flood warnings too up there in Kentucky. So a definite concern, for some of those areas, especially between Madison and Bowling Green, Madisonville. Sorry.
Yeah, a lot of flooding up here, and now more rain about to move through, so going to kind of make the problem worse. Another cell back down to the south near Cadiz or Cadiz or U.S. Highway 24, whatever you want to call this town, or not whatever you want to call it, whatever the name is. I can't pronounce things very well, unfortunately. Velocity on this one looks like more of a straight line wind threat, but nonetheless, still seeing some stronger winds out of it with this cell as well. So starting to see things pick up here for sure. All right, so currently on the board, we've got 4 active tornado warnings and plenty of severe thunderstorm warnings as well. All of them along the main line. You could argue this one out in Kentucky, maybe above or kind of out in front of the main line, but still kind of within the main scope of things out this way. So things are pretty active warning wise, but nothing crazy confirmed on the ground right now. No significant tornadoes appear to be occurring, but definitely watching some of these cells as they're kind of trying to dominate the line itself, or at least their portion of the line that they are within. Again, folks, if you have any questions, put them in the chat. We will definitely try our best to answer them as we're kind of continuing to cover the active weather ongoing. Also, tag us on social media, and we will definitely show it. It looks like actually somebody right now is saying we can show something. All right, Brady, do I still have you?
You still have me. I actually just
All right,
put
awesome.
something in the chat. We have permission to view that video of a tornado
Awesome.
warned storm by Millington. I believe the person is from Mississippi. I'm just confirming. Tennessee, actually. Right north of Memphis. North of Memphis is where this is. Millington, Tennessee. Where this person viewed this video from. The view of the tornado warned storm.
Right,
I put the link in the.
I got it for you. All right, I got it. So it should be good. All right, folks. This is view of a tornado warned storm heading towards Millington. And you said what state was that again, Brady?
Tennessee, just the one just north of Memphis.
Just north of Memphis.
I believe that tornado warned storm. So like person's view is just to the south there. Actually, a very good view just to the south of that tornado warned storm. So
Yeah, you can definitely see the sunset kind of lighting it up, and you can even see a lightning bolt in there as well. So this is the storm, and I'll kind of pause it on the video right here. You kind of see the lightning bolt. So this is the mesocyclone right kind of hidden in there. That's where we could have that potential rotation ongoing. right here in the heart of the storm. It's kind of getting lifted north, or not northward, but upward rather, in the Z coordinate plane, and definitely showing potential. So the good news, obviously, from that video is nothing jumping out saying, crazy tornado on the ground, but definitely appreciate the video there from that user, JD Howell on X. So if you've got video or you find some video, let us know, and we'll see if we get permission to use it on the stream. So thank you very much, Brady. Everyone, go ahead and give Brady a round of applause in the chat because he found that footage while I was radar hunting.
Yeah, we also have other reports from people in Millington. I'm noticing on other streams saying that they have not seen a confirmed tornado yet as well from that storm. So positive news on that cell just north of Memphis, obviously a higher populated area as well.
Yeah,
The
so
metro.
that's the cell you see right here on stream, everyone. Again, north of Millington. That's right where the Memphis radar site is as well. And we've kind of noticed looking at it, it's I think this one's being warned more off of the environment than the actual signature on radar, but still could spin up at any moment. And kind of watching, a couple little areas of some rotation. One right here in part of the cell, another one down here, another slight area there. And if you put that on kind of the reflectivity of the storm, you can see that's basically right in these little hook echoes of it. So that makes sense and that checks out, as they say. I want to do this, so I'm not. There we go. That should work better. Okay. I'm doing a little behind the scenes things. I'll have to fix that later, actually, but I'll do that tomorrow. All right, so yeah, again, that's this storm. Good news, storm to the south of there that was moving towards the Memphis area. Tornado warning dropped, severe thunderstorm warning issued. Good news there. So we'll take what we can get here. Let's go back to that tornado warning in Kentucky here and see if how that's looking. Again, folks, kind of looking at the shape of these storms. I mean, this is a classic unidirectional shear kind of day. See how these storms are kind of vertical looking? I'll draw what like a classic supercell it kind of generally looks like. Again, that's not the best picture, but normally they're a little more horizontal than vertical. These are a lot more vertical today, and that's because of the very quick wind shear change with height. Not in direction, but in speed. So kind of, lower wind speeds at the surface, and then they kind of start bolting above us. That's what kind of creates these storm setups. And we'll see if velocity here showing anything. Yeah, still kind of a little bit of embedded rotation within this cell. But the good news right now, nothing jumping out. As, we're not seeing an El Reno type event unfold or a Mayfield type event. Obviously, kind of a subject that hits close to home for folks out here in Kentucky. Nothing like that showing up, no tornado emergencies, but still continuing to monitor all of these warnings. So we definitely good news there. All right, also watching this cell in northern Mississippi, still not doing anything crazy. Checking velocity. Yeah, it's kind of going. Let's loop this one a little bit though and see if this guy is maybe getting a little bit stronger, a little bit weaker, what he's doing. And see if we can kind of base a forecast off of that. You see that little storm move near Ripley. It hasn't gotten much weaker, also hasn't gotten much stronger. So watching the trends on that one, that's one that could potentially become something on down the road if it so chooses. All right, everyone that's in the stream right now, let us know where you're watching from so we can kind of get a gauge of who and all is viewing. And yeah, also like the stream if you haven't already. Do all that fun stuff. Anything that your heart desires, feel free to do. Oh, new tornado warning just issued. So that cell south of Memphis that lost the tornado warning now has it again. We'll go ahead and stop the loop here so it kind of catches up. Actually, no, I lied. My bad. that was the old loop. So, oops. We can't look at this cell though because it does still have a little bit of a hook to it. So I would imagine the severe thunderstorm warning is probably radar, severe thunderstorm TOR possible. Those are possible tags that they throw on severe thunderstorm warnings, just meaning not strong enough quite for a tornado warning to get dropped, but still has some rotation in it. And that's moving into Memphis. So shame we don't have a tower cam in Memphis. Would have been useful to look at for that one, but it's all right. We will use what we have. Get an update down here in Louisiana. Kevin watching from southern Vermont. Lori says back to snow in Northeast PA. Awesome, Lori. If you have any footage, send it to us. We would love to use it. Nana's Ranch watching from North Florida, but watching weather back home in Bristol, Tennessee. Yeah, so Bristol, Tennessee, definitely getting some active weather. Kind of up here in this area, seeing flooding in Bristol right now, or maybe not in the city itself, but the surrounding area running into some flood concerns. So definitely, thanks for letting us know that that's kind of where your interests lie. All right, this storm north of Memphis kind of taking a new life in a sense. Now, not necessarily it's getting stronger, but taking a different shape. This was the original kind of hook right here. Now seeing a secondary hook below it. We'll need to watch that. This is still near Millington. Kind of the same area of the line, just kind of a new area has popped out to me with maybe a little bit of rotation down here near this region. So watching that again. This is in the northern suburbs of Memphis, potentially bringing some active weather to you folks. And then a severe thunderstorm warning itself for the city of Memphis. Gonna kind of keep looking around here, see if we can find any storms that pose a risk that maybe we can get you the early warning on. So we got plenty of storms down here in Louisiana near Alexandria. Slightly less wind shear down here than we have up north into the Tennessee area. So these are not tornado warned currently, but seeing kind of some of those hook echo shapes on these, and we switch to velocity. A little bit of embedded rotation, not a whole lot, but you can see just a little bit of spin in here on these two. So, good news, nothing jumping out right now to be a massive deal. All right, so we're getting some questions about kind of areas on down the road. I think we can take a quick, not break per se, but a quick second to talk about some of that winter weather potential. So let's do that. Let's kind of zoom out here and look at the Northeast. Plenty of winter storm warnings in effect for the Northeast. Winter weather advisories, including Michigan as well. Zoom out even more. You could just see the whole kind of northeastern part of the country seeing some of that active weather. And power outages will be a concern, especially in the pink area. That's where we're going to get the most snow and ice. That'll happen this evening, and then even really into tomorrow as well. But it's tomorrow afternoon and evening that the wind kicks up. That's when we could see winds gusting up near 50, 55 miles an hour, not out of the question. Those being max wind gusts, not necessarily for a prolonged period of time, but definitely could see some power outages in that region. So definitely need to watch it for sure. Let's see if weather-wise here has a kind of, yeah, they've got the overall impact map here. So if you look at the impacts, kind of get a key at the top. So looking like moderate impacts for most of us in the Northeast. I wouldn't be surprised to see a couple major. This is kind of sprinkled in here where some of that ice and wind overlapping could become a bigger concern, and not just New York, Vermont, New Hampshire, Massachusetts, even back down or out towards Michigan, seeing some of those winter weather impacts likely out of this storm system come tomorrow. While meanwhile down south, we're dealing with that severe weather potential that you can see here today with that enhanced risk. Now, most of these tornado warnings currently kind of hovering on the edge of that slight risk and that enhanced risk in this region north of Memphis, north of Jackson, seeing the biggest concern right now as that low-level jet amplifies and continues to cause problems. Miss Mary asking, what about East Tennessee expect for next weekend's snow? Again, the jury's still out on that one, but Eastern Tennessee definitely in the path of potential snow. Can't really give you any totals quite yet with that one. Looks like this tornado warning that we were watching up near Dyersburg is going to be able to expire, so that is good news. That's one less warning we'll have to worry about, which kind of gets us down to the cell north of Memphis, which also looks like it's about to expire. Expires in 5 minutes. Yeah, so that one's done just about. The one to the north is done. Nothing in Louisiana, and then just dealing with this storm up into Kentucky. But I'll be honest, folks, looking at it, looks like more of a straight line wind threat than anything at this moment. Definitely some embedded rotation kind of mixed in here, but not jumping out to be a huge concern at this moment. Brady, what are you seeing on the social media front? Anything jumping out to you? Any reports that we're getting?
I'm looking in depth here. We have no reports, only so far rotating wall clouds, no tornadoes on the ground. I did just put link in the latest SBC mesoscale discussion, highlighting the tornado potential continuing within the watch. If you want to show that, so that tornado potential is continuing across the area and even extending it further east outside the watch. They're highlighting and also mentioning the potential for strong tornadoes remains absolutely still in place, given still a favorable amount of instability in place and the strong low-level jet supporting strong wind shear as well.
We appreciate that. So is that this box right here in Louisiana, or is that a different box? Or is it the one up here in Tennessee? I
Yes,
imagine probably that one. Yeah.
indeed.
Okay. Gotcha. So we'll read through this a little bit, folks, and kind of give you the latest. Let's see if I can kick it out to the side. Maybe this map will do it. Yeah, so we'll kind of read this. So this is the mesoscale convective discussion from the Storm Prediction Center. Try to decode some of the fancy words for you, but basically the key part is right here, the summary. Tornado threat continues. Threat will continue downstream into portions of Middle Tennessee and Western Kentucky, so Nashville, Bowling Green, back over towards kind of the Mayfield and Paducah area, seeing that tornado threat over the next little bit. And basically, like Brady said, the kind of key here is this section at the bottom, I would say. It says, given the progress of the main line, maintenance of individual cells ahead of the line will be difficult. However, deep layer shear of 50 to 55 knots will continue to support line embedded mesocyclones and potential for damaging wind and tornadoes. The threat is spreading eastward and will likely necessitate a downstream watch into southern Kentucky soon. So basically, they're seeing what we're seeing. A lot of these storms just kind of along the line, not necessarily getting many of these supercells out in front of the line, which is obviously good. We like to see that. And that'll remain the main threat through the evening. Not seeing much of a discrete supercell threat at this moment in time, which is good. All right, let's take a look at if we've got any sky cams anywhere, kind of showing some of the action. This one might do us good in Greenville, Mississippi. So you can definitely see folks out there. It's a cloudy, stormy night for many of us in kind of this part of the world. These are some clouds out near Greenville, Mississippi. This is the squall line looking into kind of the abyss is what it looks like. But that is our squall line moving towards this camera site. All right, folks, so we are an hour into the stream. So, again, if you haven't already, go ahead, like it, subscribe, hit the bell for the latest notifications. Subscribe to Brady's channel. He's our guest speaker tonight and doing a lot of behind the scenes work for us. The link for that in the description and in the chat pinned. So definitely go check him out. Also, per usual, I want to say thanks to our supporters. Just going to quickly throw that in there. That's one of the perks you get from being a member is kind of these little shout outs whenever things are a little bit more quiet, and things are slightly more quiet right now as we're continuing to kind of watch this storm potential continuing to crank up. And again, just kind of lacking anything severe right now. Well, I say lacking anything severe. Seeing plenty of severe, just not too much in the tornado department. Tornado warning in Kentucky was allowed to expire, so that's good. And these tornado warnings up into Tennessee, one's going to expire basically right now, and the other one also right now. So tornado warning list currently is the good news. A squall line, though, continuing to push through. Memphis about to be rocking and rolling. Plenty of thunder and lightning about to move through the city. So go ahead and expect that to work on through. Well, Brady, while we've got this kind of slow period, you want to talk a little bit about just kind of what your plans are with your YouTube channel. I know you're kind of new on the YouTube scene. You've been doing Twitter for a while. What's kind of your goal?
My goal with that obviously is it's kind of more of a niche, and there's not a lot of people that do the in-depth, willing to go in-depth for, especially Mid-Atlantic and Northeast on YouTube. Like I'm willing to. It take a lot of time to answer your questions and go in depth on sort of the for all of you fascinated by the meteorology and the weather kind of, and you're just like starting to get curious or interested about a lot of this stuff. We break it all down. We do, during hurricane season, we're definitely going to be more active with severe weather season during the spring this year. And then we specialize in winter weather, so we will be going live going forward here a lot. We do a lot of live streams, and again, I really love this stuff with a passion. So we just want to keep expanding here on YouTube. So it's again greatly appreciate that you having me on right now.
Yeah, well, I appreciate you kind of helping me out tonight. Always always good to have that help.
Well, you're very welcome. Thank you, kind sir.
um, by the way, me and Brady, I would say just met for the first time, at least virtually, a couple of weeks ago. So, um, kind of, we're both kind of new to even talking to each other on stream. So, kind of works well, though. I think it works very well.
We're doing great. We're doing great. Just fine. Steady, happy relationship as of now.
As of now, we'll see.
Before it all goes downhill.
Right, right. All right, looking at some of these storms back down into Louisiana. I do want to take a look at this sky cam out near Alexandria. Kind of see, kind of hold on this for a second. This is that squall line just outside of Alexandria, working on through. See if we can find some lightning with it, or just anything in general. You can see the cars going by there. Again, this is WeatherWise. This is an app. You can get it for free on the App Store. They have a website, web.weatherwise.app. So definitely a great tool to use during these sorts of events. A lot of folks talking about next week's winter weather in the chat. We are going to discuss that at least, maybe not tonight, just because we're dealing with the severe weather. But unless we hit the chat goal, obviously that I put down there, then I obviously will be forced to. But we are definitely gonna talk about that later on in another stream, maybe as early as tomorrow. If not, we'll shoot for Monday and Tuesday to do a stream and talk on that. But doubling up on the videos, morning videos, night videos. Crazy pattern ahead for the Northeast, the Mid-Atlantic, the Southeast, even back down into portions of the Southern Plains. Seeing um, very active times. Latest 18Z Euro gets that ice all the way down to the Midlands of South Carolina. Definitely bumping up the cold on some of the model runs for next week.
Harold, I will also be live later tonight as well. So for people that do want some breakdown of the snow for what's going on now and next week, I will be going live tonight as well. For those that do want some information on there.
Yes, definitely go check that out. Watch his
Shameless.
lives. It's no, not shameless at all. Definitely plug it anytime I forget about it. Definitely go watch that. I think I've watched them before. They're very, very useful and fun. All right, got about 120 people in here. um, and things still kind of quiet. In fact, severe thunderstorm warning for the Memphis area. That's that's kind of what's happening right now. Is that severe thunderstorm warning? Yeah, on the chat, let me know if you've got any fun weekend plans. Personally, this is what I'm doing this weekend is YouTube, and not much else. Homework. I'm doing some homework. Brady, how about you? You got any fun weekend plans going on?
Um, yes, I will be doing a lot of praying. I'm very religious, hoping that we will get a big snowstorm next week. That is what I will be doing, personally. I don't know about everybody else, but I will be praying to Mother Nature and those snow gods heavily. But Gerald, I will say, in terms of severe weather, to bring it back, we do have interesting severe tag just north the severe thunderstorm warning north of Memphis. We actually have observed inch and a half hail in that one currently, along with
Really?
60-mile-per-hour winds. Yes, the storm just south of Halls, around Gates. Uh, Brownsville, Durhamville, Covington. That cell has actually been tagged, so observed inch and a half hail in that. So damaging hail threat very much present in that one. If you want to speak on that briefly, want to track that cell out.
Yeah, so it's pretty common this time of the year whenever we get these big storm systems to get pretty large hail. It's February after all, so the air is pretty cold above our heads, so it's not taking much of an updraft out of this one to produce some of that hail. And let's see if we can kind of pick up on some of it here. Definitely seeing some. Sorry, I'm trying to find the right. Let's check this out. So yeah, these are our enhanced echo tops. These show the height of the storm, and yeah, the storm near Covington, Ripley, it's getting pretty high up there. That tells me the updraft is kind of carrying its weight here with the storm, and kind of picking up those raindrops and continuously cycling them through the storm, and they're kind of meshing onto each other and creating these hailstones. But it's definitely a higher end hail threat than I think many people saw coming today. So definitely move your car somewhere it doesn't have to be. If you're out here near Christmasville, it's a fun name, into Brownsville, Bells, Gadsden, Alamo, Maury City, and then it's over Ripley right now, so probably a little too late for you folks. But very interesting to get those large hail reports. Maybe not something I think I was fully expecting either tonight. Yeah, I can show you all future radar as well. Somebody asked about that. So this is the kind of track forecast through the southeast. In fact, then we'll move it up to the Ohio Valley. But watch this line of storms. Again, a couple of that prefrontal stuff. It's really going to be the QLCS, though, this evening, folks, I think. Getting into Mississippi, Louisiana, into Tennessee, crossing into Alabama. This is during the overnight tonight, getting towards the Atlanta area. And I do want to throw a bone for my folks here into the Carolinas, kind of my stomping grounds here. So probably a couple viewers in and around here. Let me talk a little bit about a classic CAD wedge tornado threat for tomorrow during the morning hours. Now today, if you're in Charlotte, Greenville, Spartanburg, the upstate, it has been cold, it has been wet, it has been dreary, and you're thinking there's absolutely no way we're getting severe weather tomorrow. Well, here's the setup that often happens. So we've got this CAD, this cold air damming, or this wedge of cold air locked into the western Carolinas. And what's going to happen? These are our temperatures. Watch overnight tonight. You go from the 40s all the way up, shooting up towards the 60s by tomorrow morning, right along I-85. This increases spin in the atmosphere. Now, I take a little sounding out here. Let me back it up, maybe one frame. We'll do around Anderson, South Carolina tomorrow morning. Right along that CAD boundary. Temperature's still pretty cold. That's really contaminated. So let me pick a different sound. Let's go a little bit further this way. Yeah, so looking at the hodograph does not look very great here. In fact, let me move it up here. That's this kind of squiggly lines on the left. You see even a good amount of kind of sin there, or convective inhibition, trying to keep the storms from forming. But remember, the storms are already formed. We've already got the squall line in place. The more important thing is this on the side. This is a hodograph. Absolutely ridiculous wind shear tomorrow right along that boundary. That combined with some warm air to the south, you get some warmer inflow into the cells as they kind of work through the squall line here, and could see what we'll call a non-zero tornado threat. I'm not expecting an outbreak in the upstate tomorrow, but you remember late December we had a squall line move through, dropped a couple tornadoes. I think
Gerald,
this
I
will be
hate to
pretty
cut you
similar.
off, but we do have two new tornado warnings that just popped up.
I appreciate you cutting me off. Thank you. Yeah, there
Yeah,
we go.
one
Right.
in Tennessee, one in Arkansas.
All right, so we'll start with the Tennessee cell. This one north of Brownsville, Tennessee, brand new, just now issued tornado warning. This moving right into Maury City and towards Alamo. we'll kind of get the velocity on this one and starting to see some spin in the atmosphere with this guy. You kind of see some of these winds blowing away from the storm on the backside and already moving pretty quickly. Looks like a tight little area right there. I'm about to move through Maury City. We'll check correlation coefficient. Some of that probably just noise, honestly. But yeah, tight little area of rotation there. We're going to need to watch with this guy. Moving again right towards Maury City, US Highway 412. Going to have that one cross. Then he said Arkansas as well. Yeah, sure enough, down here in southern Arkansas. Let's see if we can get a radar site anywhere near this one. Kind of in a bit of a radar
Great
hole,
radar
but you
coverage
see,
out there right now. Yes.
yeah, unfortunately not good. But you can see this cell kind of isolated a little bit, just south of Monticello or Monticello, and yeah, that's probably some of the strongest rotation we've seen so far today. Brady is out of this
Yeah,
cell.
there's a tight couplet right there. There's a tight couplet, um, and you can see enhanced DBZ there on radar as well, right over the couplet. And I think that's kind of what National Weather Service is highlighting. And given the poor radar coverage, I think they're leaning rather safe than sorry. It seems like just in case, but no confirmation at this point. Both are radar indicated, both tornado warnings. Also, the one to the north was that same cell we were looking at for inch and a half hail confirmed. And that's the same cell that they ended up giving a warning to as well. So, yes, two active tornado warnings ongoing. Also, that new tornado warning they posted, they've also posted a new tornado watch just to the east as well across western and central Tennessee as well. So, um, tornado threat not stopping anytime soon, obviously, as it is currently going.
Yeah, definitely. So what you're seeing here, folks, this is a tower cam looking at that newly issued tornado warning in Arkansas, a bit of ways away, but you'll see a couple lightning flashes mixing in here, um, and could definitely pose a tornado threat. So I'm pulling up the graphic right now on that newly issued tornado watch. Let's see if I can find it. So here we go. Beautiful. All right, I'm gonna do the classic frozen stream thing to pull it up real quick. All right, so this is the latest tornado watch now issued for um, portions of Tennessee. Now, this does include Nashville, Portland, Bowling Green, Clarksville, Central City, up into Campbellsville, Kentucky, all the way back down towards Lawrenceburg. A few tornadoes possible, hail isolated size up to ping pong size, and then wind scattered gusts up to 70 miles an hour. So that's the brand new issued tornado watch. And then obviously kind of dealing with this kind of ongoing situation with this newly issued tornado warning. All right, so let's dive into these cells again up near Memphis, taking a look at the velocity on this one. Kind of that curly S shape, it looks like. Kind of nothing again jumping out crazy right now. I think NWS Memphis playing it safe, but that area back down near Arkansas, I think this one looked a little bit more of a problem. Yeah, definitely a tight couplet on this storm. So luckily right now moving through a little bit of a rural area, but this is south of Monticello. Arkansas moving generally towards the McGee area, Dermott, Arkansas, kind of in a little bit of a gap right now from any major population centers, which is good. But obviously, anyone who lives out here just as important as anyone else that would be in that, the rural area is just as important as the populated area, is what I'm trying to say. But definitely a strong rotation with this guy. And luckily, nothing jumping out right now saying we've got debris signature. But unfortunately, also in a bit of a radar hole. So this one looks to be problematic. We'll time it out a little bit. Look at where it's come from and where it's going. You can see it kind of definitely just started strengthening there. So this one getting strong back into portions of Arkansas. And lightning picking up as well. So that tells me the updraft is definitely beginning to gain intensity here with this storm system. Someone asking about a flight out of Boston Thursday morning. Should you cancel? So I tell everybody the same thing when they ask about flights or travel. I can only tell you the forecast, and you've got to put everything up to yourself. Personally, I wouldn't go that far right now. Boston could get a big storm Thursday morning, but it just as well it could also be a little, offshore to the point that it's really not that big of a deal. It's kind of a little too soon to guarantee anything with that. So I wouldn't go run off canceling travel yet for next week, but definitely keep coming back because things could trend that direction. Yeah, tight couplet here, folks. A lot of lightning picking up. This one in Arkansas. This is the one to watch right now. We'll go back towards the tower cam. This is probably only 30, 40, maybe 50 miles away from the storm looking into it. And again, showing that storm. Obviously dark out there. Sun is set already, but we should see some lightning flash it up here at least a little bit as we watch this. Ariana watching from Mitten Hill, North Carolina. That's not far from my place in Charlotte. So thank you for tuning in. Appreciate it. Again, folks, this is a live view of a tornado-warned storm in Arkansas. The camera pretty far away from the storm, unfortunately, but nonetheless, still a tornado-warned storm.
Gerald, that rotation there is tightening up on radar, and we even have the local meteorologist really suspecting it's possible that the tornado is on the ground on that storm right now, possibly. No guarantee. We have absolutely no confirmation yet, but rotation continuing to tighten up on that, and the debris signature, it's so far away, so it's hard to tell from
Right.
radar, but definitely a tightening couplet right there on that storm.
Yeah, folks, this could be the first big one of the day. This could be the one that kind of maybe gets the ball rolling on more of a significant type of night. Just generally speaking, when you see lightning uptick, like for example, watch the storm. I'll back it up in time. Watch kind of where it came from. There wasn't a whole lot of lightning. There was little, and then you get a big uptick in the lightning and a tightening of the rotation. That's a classic sign that this storm is strengthening, and that's a tight couplet. Unfortunately, running into a little bit of a radar hole here. Also, a little bit of a couplet to the north, it looks like as well. Let's see if this guy is kind of the same cell here, but yeah, tight rotation. Let's see, maybe there's a different radar site we could try to get a view of it from. This is really going to probably be the closest one, actually. Maybe Shreveport can see the backside of it. It's kind of messy looking. Yeah, so here's another radar site. This is the Jackson radar site. Check it out on this one. Yeah, that's tight rotation. Now, granted, far away, so it's going to look a little bit stronger than it probably is in reality. And we're not really going to get much out of correlation coefficient from either one. But that's pretty crazy looking rotation there. That's tight stuff. Like, I think we'll probably leave it on that radar site just to kind of keep a better view of it for now. So again, this is south of Monticello, Arkansas, moving towards Arkansas Highway 35. This would include Dean, Enon, Cominto, Collins, Arkansas, and then eventually, potentially, the McGee area, Tulare, kind of in the path here, and south of the Winchester area of Arkansas. Eventually, making it towards the Mississippi state line as we continue deeper ahead into time, but that's kind of far out there right now. So just kind of waiting for the new radar scans at this point with this storm. Let's quickly go back to the Memphis storm just for a second, get a little update. Not looking any stronger, I would say, than it originally did. Maybe a little bit of something trying to get going here in that circled area, but it doesn't really look like a kind of off the chart rotation right now.
Gerald, I don't know if you noticed there too, just to the north, we have another developing couplet just north of that tornado warning as well. Seems like just in the last few frames, some rotation tightening up just north to that tornado warning as well. So something to keep an eye on as well. Seems like a favorable tornado environment. Definitely a possibility there as well.
Yeah, definitely agree with that. The location of the northern rotation's a little strange, a little suspect to me. Um, but could definitely be too embedded. This now the one down south, you can kind of definitely see the storm wanting to rotate. It's kind of got a general hook shape to it. The one up here also has it, so it could kind of be two embedded supercells within the same little line segment here. Not a very big line segment. I mean, this is I zoom out, kind of a small area that we're watching here for that rotation potential. Yeah, unfortunately, this one's just in a bit of a radar gap. It's kind of the problem we're running into. So correlation coefficient isn't doing us a whole lot of good to kind of confirm whether this one is on the ground. I do want to take a quick look down here. We've got a feisty storm here moving through portions of Louisiana, and we have a live cam right here just to bring it up really quickly. Again, kind of looking into the pitch black darkness, but probably going to see a little bit of lightning flare up here in just a moment. There you go. See some of that lightning firing up. Now, this isn't this cell, but I just wanted to show you kind of what these storms are packing tonight while we're waiting for this storm to get in a much better, hopefully, radar position. By the way, I am not sponsored by Coca-Cola, but if Coca-Cola wants to sponsor me, they can. I will not stop them.
Again, Gerald, on that cell just southeast of Monticello, are seeing again that couplet tightening. Again, the radar is so far away, but over 100 miles an hour of gate to gate shear now on that couplet based on radar velocity. So no signs of that falling apart right now. Continuing to organize, very possibly tornado on the ground as we speak. It's possible. No confirmation I'm seeing yet though on social media.
Right, and you can definitely see it kind of blow up here at the end of the loop, just south of Monticello. Again, just kind of in a tough radar spot, but moving probably going to get just north of McGee here in a moment, and eventually cross Arkansas, or I guess U.S. Highway 65 through Arkansas. This is pretty well south of Pine Bluff. Again, kind of off now to the east of Monticello, Arkansas. So if you got anyone that lives in this area, let them know about the storm. Tell them to get to a center room, lower level, whatever you want to call it. Definitely something that they should be doing at this point with that tornado warning and continuing to see that potential for a tornado on the ground. Let's see if what they're calling this, radar indicated or radar confirmed. Now they're still calling it radar indicated for now. We'll see if they bump that up here at any moment in time. Definitely pretty easily see the rotation though in it. If you haven't already, folks, definitely go ahead and like the stream so more people find it. Again, we're starting to get storms that are a little bit more serious in nature. So we're trying to get the word out to as many people as possible. Consider sharing the live stream with them. Let them know that we've got these active storm systems out there.
Girl, that tornado warning still continued up there in Trenton, Tennessee. Up there, our Tennessee tornado warning, and possibly even organizing a little bit too. Possible couplet starting to form on radar. Again, looks like very at least straight line wind damage is very present at the moment, but possibly some organization on that cell up there as well.
Yeah, so this is a tornado warning near Trenton, Tennessee, getting towards Milan, north of Humboldt. Humboldt, we'll call it. I don't know how y'all live in these towns with crazy names. I feel like I grew up in a pretty easy to kind of guess name town, but maybe that's just me. So again, you can kind of see the same general shape on this one. It's kind of got that curly S shape to it, kind of a little bit of a hook down south. Taking a look at velocity though, not jumping out as anything too crazy. Um, just a very sharp line of kind of winds that are rubbing each other the wrong way, if you will. So you got winds going this way, and then winds kind of trying to go up that way, and that creates a little bit of spin along it. Just nothing confirmed on the ground or looking to be extremely serious. Hello, Dan, watching from Long Island. Appreciate you tuning in. Good news, all clear in Kentucky right now from tornado warnings at least. Flooding still an ongoing concern up that way. We did have a tornado warning there earlier, not any longer. Get a quick little radar refresh here and give it a second to. So a lot of lightning moving towards McGee right now. If we take a look at velocity, see if we have an updated scan here. Looks again kind of two areas we're watching. Only one of them warned. We've got one area here and then another area to the north up near Winchester, both of which could potentially produce a tornado. So need to watch both of these moving towards the Mississippi River, and should get there probably within the next hour. We get anything on the social media front? Any like reports of damage or anything along those lines, Brady?
No, we do have Chris Hall's on that Tennessee storm. He is showing the wall cloud present, very present there with the tornado warning storm. But again, like we said, no tornado on that confirmed on the ground. We have spotters on that storm up there in Tennessee. And as far as the Arkansas storm, we do not have any confirmation on whether or not a tornado hit the ground there either, or is still on, or on the ground currently.
Gotcha. Brian says we've got his mom lives in northern Connecticut and it has some snow there.
Tag us, Brian. We want to see that. We want to see photos always. So
Good.
feel
Y'all
free to
send us
tag
these
us on.
pictures. Brady, might have to send you outside here soon for pictures.
I can do it. We got some nice snowpack out there right now. So
Do you still
hopefully
have
it's a
snow
lot
left over
more.
from the previous storms, or?
Oh yeah, oh yeah, yeah. We still have 3, 4 inches on the ground even before today. So
Nice.
again, I'm going to be very religious praying this weekend that that goes up a lot more next week. So hopefully the fun comes our way.
Renee asking about thoughts on snow accumulation on Wednesday, Thursday, snowstorm in Frederick, Maryland. Well, Renee, again, too soon to be given totals, but Frederick definitely in an area that could see snow on Wednesday and Thursday. And I'm not saying that to try to keep some secret answer I have from you. We just legitimately don't know at this range, but there's definitely a storm signal. Good news, Brady, from what I'm seeing, kind of good news and bad news, the southern area of rotation seems to be weakening a little bit, but this area up north of Winchester kind of taken over as a dominant area of rotation. This is the Arkansas storm we've been watching. That moving kind of towards the Watson area of Arkansas. So kind of if we
Yes,
loop
it
this a little bit, you can kind of see this new area pop up to the north.
continues to be tricky with the lack of radar coverage again. But that northern cell is closer to the Arkansas by the Little Rock radar site. So it's definitely obviously it's a favorable environment for a possible or tornado genesis. So um, we'll see if that one starts organizing even more. I'll be following this right here, so I'll let you know.
Yeah, definitely looks to be strengthening. Someone asking when will we know the exact track of the storm for next week? Great question. I think we'll know a lot. I know this kind of sounds like last second, but I think by Monday we'll really know a lot more. I think we'll get through tomorrow's trends and probably have a much better idea at that point.
Gerald, if
All
you
right,
take a
looks
look
like
again
newly issued
there by
tornado warning
Tennessee,
now.
another one.
Yeah, they just extended and added that northern piece near Winchester. So we've
Northern
now
one, yeah.
got the McGee cell plus the Winchester cell. They're calling both of them in one tornado warning. So we told you, again, kind of seeing that rotation tighten up a little bit. Just crossed Arkansas Highway 20 or 65 rather, moving towards Watson, Arkansas. Eventually going to probably cross the Mississippi River here as we go through the next little bit. But luckily, about to move in a lower populated area, eventually getting up near Red Fork. Yankopin, Medina could potentially see this rotation move through. Then Mozart, Stimson, Snow Lake, Deerfield, Laconia, Lorries, Knowlton, and Australia Landing by the time we get towards the next hour. So seeing that rotation tighten here in portions of Arkansas. I'll kind of keep that on the screen here for you. What were you saying somewhere else? Something's going on, I think. You were going to say something before I cut you off. Again, if y'all have any reports of anything going on out there, let us know.
Yes, Gerald, I was sorry, I was muted
No, you're good.
on the last comment. It seems like by Dyer in Trenton up there in Tennessee, newly issued tornado warning, basically extending that area and continuing to focus on. It seems like there's a little bit of an inflow notch. It seems like forming on that again. It looks more like a classic QLCS look rather than an intense lima bean, so to say, but there's definitely something there, and they're extending that tornado warning, but it is a little radar contaminated, so a little tricky.
Yeah, this pretty nasty looking on reflectivity though. This is near Dyer, Bradford, Greenfield, getting towards Gleason, and now a newly issued tornado warning up to the north there as well. So we've kind of got two key areas to watch right now, and actually newly issued down into um, Mississippi as well. So, kind of a couple warnings just issued. This area, we'll start down here. This is near the Louisiana, yeah, I guess Louisiana, Arkansas, Mississippi line, about to cross the Mississippi River, Rolling Fork, Mississippi, now under a tornado warning. Obviously, not a name you want to hear, but let's check the velocity on this one. Yeah, pretty tight little rotation on here. We've got a sky cam that I think is going to probably be looking at it. So let's see if we've got the latest um, out of this one. So this is now a tornado warning issued for Rolling Fork, Mississippi. Here's the view of it. Wow, yeah, check out the lightning kicking up here. Definitely getting active once more in this region.
Gerald, we have a new tornado warning as well, just to the north of that Tennessee by Dyer and Trenton. They just issued another one to the north there by the border of Kentucky. So there's actually three current tornado warnings ongoing along that line there in northern Tennessee as well.
Yeah. All right. So this is kind of when I wish I had the Ryan Hall style of having multiple things up. But that's okay. We will use what we have, Brady, and what we've got is me, you, and weather-wise. So, um, yeah. So three tornado warnings now to the north. Again, I'm going to flip back and forth between this. This is a tornado warning storm moving towards Rolling Fork, Mississippi, and check out the lightning. Plenty of cloud-to-ground bolts on this one. Definitely starting to look pretty crazy here. Now, up towards Tennessee, this is a completely different cluster of tornado warnings. We'll get to the velocity signature. Again, like Brady said, kind of contaminated in here, but really anywhere along this line could potentially begin to rotate, moving towards McKenzie, Paris, up towards kind of the per year area, Hazel, Buchanan, all of this in Tennessee, western Tennessee to be exact, back towards Milan under a tornado warning. So anywhere in this line could potentially begin to rotate. So go ahead and just be prepared for that. But what I also want to bring your attention to down here, again, this storm moving towards Rolling Fork, kind of north of Tallulah, Louisiana, beginning to show some signs of rotation. If we time this one out again and kind of look at the past little bit for it and where it's going and where it's coming, definitely see that rotation kind of began to tighten up there and continuing to do so. So the NWS here kind of pulling the trigger early ahead of time, saying we're watching this area, has the potential to be something big.
Hey, Gerald, on the Tennessee tornado warnings, if you look at the Kentucky radars, that is where the velocity scan is a little less. It's still farther out, but it's a little less contaminated, and you can clearly see the couplets present on those. Try any of those southern Kentucky
Oh,
radars, and you
yeah,
can.
there you go. Yeah, so this northern cell, tight couplet. Still kind of messy here on the middle one, but kind of in there we've got a couplet. And then the southern cell, not seeing quite as much of one, but maybe down there, slight rotation. But this northern cell, this one looks pretty tight. This one, again, moving near Hazel, Crossland, Midway, per year, Buchanan, just past Cottage Grove, Tennessee, and going to cross the state line into Kentucky here soon, just south of Murray, Kentucky. Tight little couplet for this storm. Correlation coefficient, not showing much right now, but may kind of catch up here in a moment. All right, folks, so you can see this storm definitely causing problems out here. This is in Rolling Fork, Mississippi. Tornado warned storm moving towards it. A lot of lightning kicking up and beginning to strengthen on radar as well. You can definitely see the lightning. Or the lightning, or the e-lightning. Plenty of ways I've heard the word lightning spoken. All right, here's a picture from a friend of mine. I'm seeing looks like bowl-shaped wall cloud. He says on tornado warned supercell approaching Humbleton, Tennessee. Let's kind of find that one. So that's
It's the
I believe that's up
southernmost
here.
tornado warning. It's the southernmost one.
Southern.
Uh,
Oh, I see. I got you.
well,
Out of this cluster. Yeah, so this storm right here has got a big wall cloud on it from sources that are very reliable down here near uh, Humboldt, Tennessee. So seeing a wall cloud there, likely seeing a wall cloud with the northern cell, likely seeing a wall cloud with the middle cell, moving towards McKenzie, just south of Murray, and then this one towards Milan. So plenty of cities here in the path of these embedded supercells along this quasi-linear convective system, aka QLCS, aka squall line. Just a bunch of fancy terms here.
AKA nasty weather. That's the summary.
AKA nasty weather, ultimately. Yeah. Let's go back down to Arkansas. I haven't looked at that one in a second. Let's see what we're seeing out of this one. Take a look at velocity. Kind of still a couple areas of rotation giving that potential active weather. Then this Mississippi warning. This is just north of Vicksburg, north of Tallulah. Right now, not showing a ton of rotation in this one. Definitely some rotation. Again, this moving towards Rolling Fork. Right now, just kind of broad rotations. I think they're going to just go ahead and pull the trigger early on this one because this cell is a little more discrete than some of the others we've seen. We go to reflectivity and see it's kind of on its own a little bit, kind of out ahead of the line slightly. So dealing with a slightly better environment to potentially produce a tornado.
They're continuing the rolling fork tornado warning as well. Just about 10 seconds ago, they just updated that. So continuing suggest, I believe, favorable environment for tornadoes. Obviously, and there is still a couplet there, although weaker. Still a couplet on that cell.
Yeah. Honestly, folks, I'd say the strongest of any of the rotation is this cell about to move into Hazel. This is up right along the Tennessee-Kentucky line. This one, the most concerning looking to me right now. Just kind of scrolling through the different radar sites, kind of seeing some of that rotation moving wind away from the radar site, wind towards the radar site. This is about to move right over Hazel. So, not confirmed tornado on the ground, but definitely an area of rotation worth watching back that way. And then still seeing rotation on these areas further south. Just so much radar contamination right now. Kind of struggling to get a clear picture on many of those. Severe thunderstorm moving through Memphis. Looks like the tornado warning in Arkansas was allowed to expire. So Arkansas now tornado warning free. Still seeing some broad rotation out of those. Doesn't appear to be as big of a deal. And like Brady mentioned, this morning continued for the Rolling Fork area. We can go ahead and look back at the kind of sky cam view on that one for a second and kind of watch it rolling towards this camera site. Hey, you notice the lightning picking up with that one. That's Pretty impressive little storm. Again, this one kind of on its own a little bit, folks. So in its own environment, getting slightly more or able to tap into that cape a little bit more on its own compared to some of those storms kind of embedded in the squall line. Pretty good rotation here near Greenfield. A bit of a couplet. This is in Tennessee. Yeah, so right here near Greenfield, seeing some pretty good rotation. That moving off eventually towards the north of McKenzie, towards Henry, and eventually Paris, Tennessee, in the path of that one.
There are possibly multiple areas of rotation too on that on by Greenfield and Bradford in Tennessee on that cell that we're looking at right now. On the Paducah radar site, it's a little bit more visible, a little less contamination.
Oh, Paducah. Okay, gotcha. I was gonna say, well, that click did not have any more. Um, yeah, this is probably the best of the radar sites. So again, Hazel is still jumping out to me. I think this one, that one's concerning. Right over Hazel right now. It's along the Kentucky-Tennessee state line, and then like Brady mentioned, kind of some more broad rotation over Greenfield, like we were just pointing out, seeing some potential down that way, and then further south towards Milan, Trenton, seeing some severe weather potential as well. Memphis looks to be all clear now from tornado potential, but heavy rain moving through the Memphis area. So you should be all clear. Little Rock, all clear from severe weather potential. Shreveport, all clear from severe weather potential. These areas out in front of the line, still a way to go until we are in the clear as we continue to watch multiple tornado warnings roll on through. The Rolling Fork storm, we'll take another look at that one. At velocity, looks to be getting a little bit tighter down here. We'll again kind of loop it here and give you what it once was and what it's become. You see that area getting a little bit more defined. Not off the charts, but still a little bit more defined, moving generally towards the Rolling Fork area of Mississippi. Here's a sky cam of that storm we'll get a look at. Yeah, just kind of a mess, folks, right now on radar. A little bit of everything happening. Yeah, it looks like that's pretty intense looking couplet moving towards McKenzie, and that lines up perfectly right with the hook of this storm. So again, you kind of look here. Oh, let me click the right button, and then you'll see what I'm talking about. Um, here's reflectivity right in kind of the hook of this storm. You kind of see how it hooks back. And then you look at velocity, a tight couplet, and nothing on correlation coefficient. But this one, I would be surprised if this one's not on the ground. Just north of McKenzie, Tennessee, moving towards the Henry area, just crossed Greenfield. Again, has pretty high end potential. This is going to go right through the northern side of McKenzie, at least the northern kind of suburbs per se. McKenzie's not big enough to call these areas suburbs, but these more rural areas up towards Salem, Henry, moving into Pillowville right now. Again, this one I think has a pretty strong case to be a tornado on the ground. Let's go back to that sky cam back down into Mississippi rather. Let's see how that's coming along. Brady, we getting anything on social media suggesting any sort of tours on the ground or?
Nothing confirmed. We do have our main read trying to intercept that one right now currently, and again rotation tightening up on that. But again, no official confirmed tornado yet. But they did extend out that tornado warning, extend it literally. So there is continues. They're continuing to suggest that that definitely has potential to drop at any point on the ground, if not already.
Again, folks, this is near McKenzie, Tennessee, right now. Classic looking S shape. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, I mean, you literally draw an S over the storm, and that's exactly what it looks like. So it's kind of this bulge out and this bulge in that's indicating rotation in between the two. And that's where we could be seeing a potential tornado on the ground, moving just north of McKenzie towards the Paris area, Big Sandy, specifically just. Could go right through Paris, Tennessee here. So if you're in that area, go ahead and get to your safe place and treat this like a tornado on the ground because it very well could be. Yeah, right here, just south of Gleason. I mean, that's a pretty strong couplet, Brady. I would be pretty surprised if this isn't. I mean, it's got to at least be one heck of a wall cloud in this thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the rotation really tightening together. Again, it almost looks like there's multiple areas like of rotation in there. It's kind of messy, but like it's very clear, defined, and tight. So there's
Yeah,
definitely a concern
definitely.
here for the tornado to drop at any point.
I would agree. And you kind of see we bounce back between velocity, reflectivity, velocity, reflectivity. Some of this probably getting a little contaminated, but overall, definitely some rotation in here for sure. Also, folks, I will go ahead and warn you now. Probably not going to go too terribly much longer. Unfortunately, I do have some homework to complete. Kind of the downside of being a weather lover who also has to do weather homework. Unfortunately, in this case, it's more calculus than weather homework. But we'll go ahead and give you that warning. But whenever we do get off, obviously go to other trusted sources for this. And Brady will have a live tonight as well talking snow coverage, which I know a lot of you were asking about. Unfortunately, just tonight with the severe weather ongoing, wanted to kind of focus on that. Also, I plan on doing these severe weather live streams more often come springtime. So want to definitely kind of, get into the groove of things, try to learn some ins and outs and try to get a little bit better at it. So that's kind of the goal of doing it right now in February, even during these more wintry time frames. But after this, it'll be full steam ahead, 2 videos a day. I'll try a video at night if I can, talking big snow potential next week. And that'll be kind of what's coming on down the pipeline for my channel. Brady, tell the people what time you plan on going live tonight.
I will be live around 11:30 ish. I like to go live typically around when those OZ models, those 0Z models come out, and fresh data. And also, I like to do it 24 hours apart. And so, a lot of people like to over-examine those model runs. And but when you space it out, you get clear what changed day to day, and you can clearly break down what to expect going forward. So yeah, we'll be live around 11 to 11:30 ish, probably somewhere around there, and we'll be breaking down the ongoing storm and also be talking about next week's as well.
Awesome. Good stuff. And yeah, reminder, big storm going on right now. So, yeah, it has been a crazy 2025. I feel like this winter, in my mind at least, Brady, is kind of stuck out of the pack as one of the crazier ones, just nationally speaking, not specifically for, maybe one area, but between the Gulf Coast storm and whatever's coming next week and today's storm, it has been a very tiring start to the year, at least for me.
Yes, it's gotten a lot of stuff about the winter hasn't been that great, or a lot of people complaining in the Northeast, but nationally wide, it's been very widespread, the winter impacts this winter. And I mean, some obviously the historic Gulf Coast storm, but just all around, we saw that January 6th system that was widespread impacts. And we've had some high impact events, and certainly today another high impact event, and then obviously the potential that exists next week. So consistent cold, and now we're starting to see a lot of snow here this February for a lot of people as well.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. All right, folks. Well, honestly, I should probably get to the homework sooner than later. So, just a quick recap again. We've got a couple tornado warnings. McKenzie, Tennessee, right now, probably the biggest concern. But it's also an absolute mess on radar in terms of trying to decipher anything. We've got so much contamination in that storm. The storm near Rolling Fork, from the latest look down on that one at reflectivity and velocity, showing minimal tornado potential. Not jumping out to be a massive storm, but at any moment, this could change. Any of these storms could tighten up, become a bigger deal, and it could definitely be something that we need to monitor should that happen. So definitely go to another trusted source. Plenty of other YouTubers live right now. Go to your local meteorologist. They're probably going to be the best to keep you informed during this tornado coverage. Yeah, Brady, any other final things you wanna add here at the end?
Uh, Not too much. Just I put the link to my channel again. It's pinned, but I also put it in again for those curious. We had a lot of questions about the snow, so whatever snow questions you got, especially Mid Atlantic, Northeast, definitely specialize in that. And I will be breaking down first. I'll be breaking down the ongoing storm because that's the one that's hitting, and then we'll be focusing on next week's storm, like I said. And for anybody that has questions, you want detailed answers, we like to go deep into the meteorology. So if you enjoy it, you got curiosity about it, I'm definitely a go-to source for that. I can't guarantee I will get your forecast 100% accurate, but I can guarantee I will, do whatever I can to break it down as good as I can.
And definitely go check out Brady's channel and thank him, everyone, for joining me tonight and helping me with some of the behind the scenes stuff. And I can almost guarantee you'll see him on the channel between now and next Wednesday, Tuesday, Thursday's mess on the way. So, all right, folks, y'all have a good one. Stay safe. Stay whatever you have to be dry. That's probably the word we'll use tonight. And we'll see you tomorrow morning.